Hello and welcome everyone. This is your astrology forecast for new moon in Taurus, and this is a very inspiring new moon. After all the eclipses and full moon in Scorpio, the intensity, the heaviness, anxiety, uncertainty, and something that we can call like some kind of initiation into a dark night of the soul. And this new moon in Taurus really brings some new light, new positive expression, something new and abundant, something that gives us that new insight into life, a new sense of merging with life, with our bodies, with nature, with senses, with beauty, with harmony. So we can harmonize within ourselves, we can harmonize with nature, we can sink in with all the laws and elements of things that we are made of. And we are learning that life and the whole universe, this whole existence that we are seeing and experiencing is truly a living organism. It's not an organization. We have been taught that this life is an organization, and we are being taught to live as an organization, to be organized, not to be spontaneous, but to organize ourselves, to live an organized life. But in nature, nothing is organized. So it's not an organization, it's an organism. There is a big difference between these two things, even though their words are very similar, but big difference. So let's remember that we are a living organism and not an organization. And we may feel this tension between being an organism and living as an organization. So this is happening because the moon is in Taurus, and the moon is telling us about the parts of ourselves that are very repetitive, something that we know very well, something that we have trained very well, something where we feel comfortable, something where we feel secure. And Taurus is also about security. It's about things that we find that make us feel safe and secure. So it's about our safe zone, safety nest. So we may have a need to do something repetitively. You know, Taurus is a fixed sign, so it's about fixated thoughts and feelings. Doesn't like change very much, so we may be fixated about something and we may want to repeat it the way we have learned it. But this new moon in Taurus is actually making a conjunction with Uranus. And this conjunction means that they are coming together. So new moon in Taurus is together with Uranus, planet of shocks, surprises, sudden shifts, things that happen out of the blue, things we couldn't see coming, unexpected things, innovations, progressive things, awakenings, radical changes, things that really kick us out of our comfort zone. So this Uranus in Taurus, together with this new moon in Taurus, will definitely kick us out of our comfort zone. It will kick us out of things that we have been repeatedly doing and where we feel secure and safe. So we may be pushed out of that nest, and it's about us learning how to live more spontaneously, how to be a living organism, how to tune in with these natural rhythms. And this is also teaching us that sometimes we don't need affirmations, positive affirmations and sweet words all the time. It's not about, always trying, pushing for things to be perfect and nice and beautiful and cozy and sweet, but sometimes we need raw energy. We need face to face with ourselves, embracing the shadow, embracing it all. And this new moon in Taurus, even though it's Taurus, it's about grounded energy, earth energy, body, senses, enjoyment, pleasures, but it's together with Uranus. So we need to really kick ourselves out of our comfort zones and really feel everything. As I said in previous video where we had full moon in Scorpio, we are embracing and integrating everything. So we need opposites. We need balance. When things are completely still, when there is no friction happening, we consider these things, it's considered to be dead. When the water is completely still, when something is completely still, it's not moving, it's considered dead. So there is no life happening there. So we need life to happen. And this is new moon, so it's new beginning, it's new life. Taurus is about life, it's about blooming, it's about growth, it's about building something, creating something, making something happen, embodying something, bringing the spirit into matter. So we are embodying our spiritual qualities, and we need this friction. So we always need to work on being in balance. Yeah, I think I spoke about this already, maybe even in previous video, I'm not sure, but it's very important to know that if we go too much into one side, the other side will go in the extreme. So it will go in the extreme and it will just miss everything. But when we have it here, somewhere here, oscillating, when there is friction, there is life happening, there is creation, there is something that can be created, developed, built. So we always need that. We can never go into either extreme, because then we will just lose it all. So we are learning how to see ourselves from every angle, and learning how to see from these different angles, and how to still keep this friction going on, being able to move all around but also to be centered. So we are also learning what is liberating and what is restricting for us, and how to balance between the raging bull, because now this is Taurus energy. Taurus can be raging bull, dealing with anger, going and just using that raw strength to demolish it all. Or are we going to use this energy to slow down, to take some time, to smell the roses, to be that Ferdinand bull? Or are we raging bull? And how can we balance between the raging bull and the Ferdinand bull? And we may see different aspects of this in people around us. We are going to witness the raging bulls and the Ferdinand bulls, and within ourselves and outside of ourselves. And we're going to learn what we are made of, what is the world made of, and we're going to see that we all participate in this reality. And we don't know everything, and we can never know everything. We are on the journey, and we are experimenting and learning and growing and developing. And there are many layers, many layers. And this is about us learning how to be artists of our life. Taurus energy is a lot about being an artist, but being an artist of creating a life, not of copying life, not copying other people's lives, but creating our own life. Venus is the ruler of this new moon, and Venus is also in Taurus, in her own sign. And this is where Venus is very strong. And Venus is planet of love, beauty, harmony, aesthetics, relationships, attractions, design, pleasures, joys, everything that is, beautiful and harmonious. And it's also about values and about finances and money and luxury things. So we are learning what is truly luxury, what luxurious means to you, what is glamour, what is truly glamorous and luxurious. Where is our inner luxury? What about our inner luxury? Do we know it? Do we discover it? Do we search for it? Are we seeking for that inner luxury? Are we seeking for inner harmony, for inner pleasures? Or are we always getting lost in externalizing those pleasures, externalizing harmony, externalizing values and qualities? Because Taurus has a tendency to overindulge, to spend too much, to overdo things, to overeat, to overspend, to want more and more and more. It can be needy and greedy. It can be too much into material world, too materialistic, and too possessive too. So we may be faced with these things within ourselves and with people around us. And we are learning how to be true artists, how to search for that inner luxury, inner harmony, inner qualities, inner resources. Taurus is about resources, resources and livelihood and supplies and maintenance and sustenance and security and stability. And it's also about survival. It's about things that we need in order to survive in this material realm. Things like food, shelter, and clothes. It's also about banks and economy and agriculture and food and assets and budget and finances and earnings and investments, savings and spending. It's about long-term things. It's about building and developing things. It's about learning how to be in the body and how to listen to the wisdom of the body, and not to go into that extreme of being too hedonistic, too materialistic, too greedy, too self-indulgent, but learning how to find those qualities, how to be self-sufficient in a quality way, and how to recognize beauty and values within ourselves and in people around us, and how to recognize beauty despite everything in the world around us. When we can recognize beauty, we are always creating something. We are into a creation mode when we are able to recognize beauty. But when we are not able to recognize beauty, we can easily slip into self-destructive mode. We are already into self-destructive mode when we cannot recognize any beauty around us. But we are learning through challenges, through tests, through failures. These failures are very resourceful. Failures teach us how to get up again and how to try again. And we are learning these things, definitely. So we are also learning about money and things that we need in this world. How can we, be self-sufficient and have everything that we need in order to live this life in a quality way without becoming greedy and without falling into habitual hedonism. Habitual hedonism is a big problem of the modern society. And when I say modern society, I don't mean only on this period. This is a very huge period of time, modern society. I mean on this whole period of these last 2,000 years. And even before, since the age of Taurus. Because this is when the first banks and the systems were developed. But we are learning truly how to improve our relationship with money and how to find things that are pleasurable without spending money and without becoming addicted, without having a need for more and more and more. And why is this happening? Because we cannot enjoy in the moment. We don't feel our bodies, we don't feel our senses. We don't feel things that happen now, but we are always seduced by recreating, repetitive, as I said, repetition, by recreating those moments where we actually create a simulation of happiness. So are we living in a simulation, or are we creating a life? So this will be very strong, and because it's in conjunction with Uranus, it could be shocking for many of us, because we may be faced with our own illusions. We may see that we've been self-delusional in many places, that we've been lying to ourselves, that we are enjoying some things when we are actually not enjoying it, or where we are living somebody else's desires, somebody else's pleasures, somebody else's enjoyments, not knowing what our true wants and needs are. Taurus is a lot about self-worth. It's about knowing our worth, appreciating ourselves, nurturing ourselves, owning ourselves, recognizing that we are the most powerful resource that we have, and being able to tap into that inner abundance feeling, knowing that we are abundant. Abundance is not about having this or that, or having enough money, or having a bank account, or having a big house. We have to recognize this inner abundance, inner resource. Somebody is happier with very little than somebody who has everything in material senses. So we are truly recognizing true qualities, true priorities, and life will challenge us in these days when it comes to these things. So we are going to see what are our true priorities, what truly matters, and how would we feel if we would suddenly be left without everything that we already have. It's a lot about being grateful for what we already have, but we don't know what we have until we lose it. So there is a great exercise for all of us. Let's practice that let's imagine that we lost everything that we already have, including people and things, and all the comfort that we already have, whatever that comfort is. And then let's come back into this moment present with that consciousness of losing something, and that coming back into this moment where we have it, where we see that we actually have it. It's like waking up from a nightmare and realizing, I didn't lose anything actually, I have it all. And then realizing the value of those things that we have. Recognizing the value, recognizing the quality, being grateful for senses, being grateful for the air that we breathe. You probably know when we are sick, the only thing that we think about is about getting healthy, about curing ourselves. But once we are healthy again, when the sickness is gone, we forget about it, and we immediately fall into the same loop and trap of doing the same old. And then again, when we get sick, we again forget about all those things that were that were seemingly important and significant. And then again, we only want to be well. So it's time to really honor and value things that we already have. Our ability to walk, to look at things, to wake up and to see, to have sight, to be able to move, to stretch, to feel things, to hear things, to listen to music, to read books, to watch movies, whatever. Just be grateful for being able to do all those things without difficulties, being able to be grateful for the air that we breathe, or for anything that we have in this moment. And this is a very big dimensional shift because of this conjunction with Uranus in Taurus. And the exact conjunction between Uranus and Jupiter happened on the 20th, 21st of April. And this will be strong for another month. And this new moon is happening on the 7th and 8th of May, depending on where you are in the world. And it will be very much connected with that Uranus-Jupiter conjunction. So something is happening that is quite surprising. Something that we couldn't see coming, for better or worse. For everyone will be different. But there is some uncertainty. So if we can learn how to get grounded, Taurus, how to be calm in the middle of the storm. This is Taurus and Uranus energy. Uranus in Taurus, new moon in Taurus, Venus in Taurus, Jupiter in Taurus. Really learning how to be calm in the middle of the storm. And being able to observe this uncertainty without being disturbed. And we are going to see that there is actually much more support and more abundance than we've been led to believe. And many more magical, profound things are unfolding for those of you who are ready to do this exercise that I already mentioned, and to tap into that moment of being able to see the dynamics of life and to see that everything is purposeful. We are opening new channels, definitely. Opening up to new possibilities, new people, new places, new relationships, new beginnings, new resources, new investments, new source of income for many of us, new money situation, new financial situation, new qualities in life, new priorities. We are learning all these things, how to work with them, how to live with them. And as I said, learning to be true artists, learning to create life and to let the beauty flow and express itself through us. You know, learning how to treat these bodies as temples, as they are. Our body is a temple, so let's treat it that way. It's a sacred vessel, and we have to learn how to take a good care of ourselves, of our body, our mind and soul. This is all, it's never separate, but it all starts with our body. We are living with this body. We cannot remove it. We have to carry it. We have to feel its weight. And whatever happens, we feel it on our skin. And we cannot separate ourselves from this body. So we have to learn our bodies. We have to learn to listen to it. We have to learn how to be in a real connection with it, because we are disconnected. We don't know when we are hungry. We don't know what we want to eat when we are hungry. Or we eat anything that we find. Or it's not only about the food, really, but Taurus is a lot about food. So it's also about our senses and what kind of food for our senses we take in. And we are learning how, to be easy on yourself, especially on your body, because we abuse our bodies in ways that we cannot imagine, because we don't know. We have to honor our instincts, our bodies, our needs. And, we definitely, we are going to become more aware of how we abuse our bodies. In many ways, with food, with music, with alcohol, with substances, with the medicaments of all kinds, with workouts or overworking out or being lazy and inert and not moving, you know, all extremes will be pointed out to us. And this is a time to bring in the most needed medicine, and we are all going to see what is the most needed medicine for each of us. And so much can change during this time. Uranus is planet of changes, of big changes, unexpected changes, surprising changes. So we are going to experience some surprising new moments, new beginnings that are coming out of the blue, that are related to our bodies, our senses, our physical reality, our money, our bank account, our resources, our sense of security and stability. We are going to learn how to take care of these things and how to treat ourselves in the right way, how to take care of ourselves in a proper way. And we are learning how to detach from being a slave to our own needs and to the needs of others. As I said in previous video, I said we are mostly victims of other people's needs because we took them as our own and we don't know what are our true needs. So we are also learning how to detach from being slaves to the mirror. And when I say to the mirror, I mean metaphorically and literally as well. You know, are we slaves to the mirror? New moon in Taurus can give us some new insights about our beauty and our physical appearance too. You know, how we look. Because Venus and Taurus and new moon there, moon is exalted in Taurus. Moon feels very good in Taurus. Because moon is about our safety and security, and Taurus can provide that safety and security. So it feels very well, very good in Taurus. But because there is this conjunction with Uranus, it's going to show us where we've been twisting that perception of beauty, qualities, values, and resources. We have to realign with true qualities and values. So we are learning how to detach from being a slave to the mirror. You know, how we present ourselves. Are we spending too much time on beautifying ourselves? You know, surgeries because of beauty. This is something that is also very, very popular and very destructive at the same time. You know, putting too much focus on our external beauty and ignoring and neglecting our inner beauty. So there is this balance in the world generally, a big, huge disbalance between inner beauty and outer beauty. We put so much focus on external beauty, and this is affecting all of us individually. You know, some of you may say, but you know, I am not that kind of person or whatever, but it doesn't matter because it affects all of us on the subconscious level. This big disbalance between inner beauty and outer beauty. So where do we put our focus? Where is our focus? Is it on externalizing the beauty and qualities and happiness and pleasures and joys, or are we investing in our inner on our true source of those resources? Where is the source of the resource? It's within, of course, it's inside of us. And this moon in Taurus invites each of us to let go of the past pain held in the cellular memories of the body and emotional level to create room for birthing something fresh and new. So we are releasing the tension and pain that has been held in the cellular memories of the body, in the cells of our body. So we may be feeling this big tension and pressure on our bodies And also we may feel the pressure from external world and the authorities to do the work, to do the job, to earn money, to provide security and stability, to have enough food, enough money, enough resources. This is a big pressure, and we can never rest. We have to work. Some people work 2 or 3 jobs to provide things that they need materially, but what do they feel inside? Is there any pleasure? Is there any true joy? What is that overworking and overspending and consumerism going to bring if we are dead inside? So we are learning how to resurrect from the inside, how to rebirth ourselves, because many of us will see that they are dead inside, that they have been putting too much focus on external things, on earning money, having enough, working too much, working too hard, because this is what is appreciated into this world. This is, what is seen as something good and valuable. Oh, this person is working too much. He's very, he's qualified. He's appreciated. But why? This person is killing himself or herself. For what? For whose joy? So we are learning how to create this true balance and how to ground ourselves, how to recognize those inner qualities, how to see what truly brings me joy and satisfaction. What is enough for me? And we are going to see if we are moving into that space where we need more and more and more, much more than what is enough. So we are creating then a big disbalance in our bodies, and this is how people get sick, and this is how people attract misfortune, and this is how people attract many things that are trying to teach them lesson about true qualities and values. And there is a huge growth happening now, big growth. And right now we could do a lot of growing by admitting to what we feel and claiming responsibility for what we feel, and learning that we are never victims, and we will need to learn to accept our part in the co-creation of changes. We live in a world that wants to separate people into the happy and the unhappy, the joyful and the depressed, the fortunate and the unfortunate, the normal and abnormal, the positive and the negative. But those distinctions are not real. And we always find ourselves stuck in these comparing movies. We are always comparing in these opposites. Then we feel either worse or better. But this energy is teaching us to shift from that and to tap into our own wisdom, into our inner abundance. We cannot separate ourselves from the bad things either. We cannot separate ourselves from the corruption that is happening in the world, from the erosions, the murders, the destruction, the poisonings that are going on. No matter what dimensions we mistakenly believe that we are ascending to, no matter how much fake currency we have in the bank account, we are learning that we cannot be separated from the wholeness of this existence. So we can deny it, we can avoid it, but it will eventually catch us. So we are learning truly how to be calm in the middle of the storm, as I said, but not completely calm, but present. That's a synonym for being present, for being there, but not being involved and disturbed by it. And many people are going to see that this system is not actually working against us, but it's given, it's like it's created in this way so that we can see that something is wrong and that we have to change. So, seeing that, caffeine and drug-fueled is drug-fueled to keep us going and going and going. We are, in a series of years when it's considered a sickness if we need a rest, if we need to slow down, if we need to just stop for a little while. It's it's considered as something wrong, like we have to overwork, overdo, overspend to show our values, to show our true qualities. And then people who don't do that feel depressed. And then they lose the desire to be in the world. So we have these big, huge extremes of separations between, as I said, normal and abnormal, joyful and depressed, happy and unhappy, positive and negative. But there is no such thing in reality, in its essence. We carry all that there is. And there is, I don't know where I read it, but there is a saying that says, if there is no enemy within, there is no enemy without. And this is really true. So we're learning how to apply that wisdom into our everyday life. And there is also another saying that says, everyone seems to be looking for the right person, but no one wants to be the right person. So let's ask ourselves, are we trying to be the right person, or are we only looking for the right person? That's another big question during this time. And this energy is teaching us how to embody our self-worth. This is what Taurus is about. It's where we embody our self-worth. And it represents our natural born talents that we can use to generate resources to support ourselves on the material plane. And it is a very self-sufficient archetype focused on grounding and adapting to life. Taurus is inviting spirit into 5 senses, and it's about enjoying the sensuality of living in a body. And the presence of Uranus here plugs our bodies into a high voltage current. And we cannot outrun the pain, as it's the very ingredient that we need to grow. So if we feel the pain in the body, this is a sign that something is changing, something is happening. We are in the game. It's on. And we are facing limitations. And this is what facing limitations is what opens the gates to power, to inner power. And with denial, the gates stay closed. So are we opening the gates or are we closing them? And, Taurus is like the grass growing out of concrete. You all probably saw that. I've seen that many times. I see it all the time. The little grass is growing out of concrete. It is natural strength. And the nature finds its way through everything. And so do we. We can find our way through everything, no matter how heavy and dense the pressure is. We can find our way through that concrete. Just like the grass growing from the concrete, we can grow from the pain and from the pressure and from the challenges that are covering us. That subtle energy as grass finds its way and strength to come out of the concrete. So we are also going to see, to think about, what do I produce? Taurus is about production. It's about productivity and fertility. So what do I produce? What do I give? What is mine? What belongs to me? Am I grateful for what I have? The Taurus is about things that I considered to belong, that I consider that to belong to me, that I consider mine. So what is my uniqueness? What are my talents? What are my gifts? My body. What is my body telling me? Taurus is a lot about self-love, learning to love ourselves. and learning that there is no copy of me, there is no copy of you. You know, we have to nurture this knowing. We have to be in the physical body and feel the energy through our bodies. This is the key. And it's about slower frequencies. Even though Uranus is there, Uranus is quick energy, but it's in Taurus, and the new moon is in Taurus, and Venus is in Taurus, and Jupiter is in Taurus. So it's a huge focus on Taurus energies. It's about slowing down and understanding that there is so much to see when we slow down. We can see so many things when we slow down, and we're going to see how many things we don't see because we are always in something. And, you know, appreciating where we are right now instead of jumping to the next thing all the time. And we are, if we are present enough to see how nature works, to see the laws of nature, we are going to see that nature never fails. And I mention this, I think, every time when I talk about Taurus. And it's really important to see that nature never fails. And there is no order in nature. That's why I said we are not organization. Life is not an organization, it's a living organism. There is no order in nature, at least not the kind of order our minds imagine. That's why we can also feel a bit chaotic now. There is no order, but there are cycles, and cycles never betray us. We can always count on cycles. We know that the summer will come for sure, and we know that summer will come after winter for sure. We know for sure that the sun will come up each day, and we know for sure that the moon will come, that the night will come always, that there is always new moon, there is always full moon. There is no mistake there. Never, ever. It can never fail. The sun will never fail us. The sun will never betray us. The sun will be there every day. And we should rely on our nature, on our body, and on our cycles. Learning our cycles. Learning what will never betray us. And learning how to never betray ourselves. Slowing down is not easy, of course, especially in this day and age. Slowing down is not easy. It's a part of experience and wisdom. So body is ever changing also. Body is constantly changing, just as like the moon. The moon is related to our bodies, and the moon is very quickly changing. Every 2 days it changes signs. It's the quickest cycle, and it's always renewed and rejuvenated. And this new moon is giving us that ability to be renewed, regenerated, refreshed, but learning how to slow down and to observe the change, to feel the change, and to enjoy things that bring simple pleasures. Taurus is about simplicity and enjoyment and calmness and, you know, being earthy, feeling the earth. Everyday things that provide security and stability, tender moments that we spend in the womb. You know, trying to feel that security and safety of those tender moments, just like the baby feels in the womb. But it's a lot about dependency as well. Being dependent on nurturance and nourishment from others, searching for someone to take care of us. And we are actually pretty much shaped even before we come to this material realm, even before we come out of the womb. We are already shaped. We already have different affections, and we are learning how to reshape them. We are learning what is the cause of those shapes and reshapes. And we're going to see, do we have a good relationship with that which gives us life? And what gives us life? Are we living in a lack of abundance? Are we in a state of mind where we feel lack of abundance, lack of values, lack of security, where we are always deeply triggered, quickly triggered, where we are always feeling like victims? We are going to see this clearly. And, you know, people are being discriminated, marginalized, and defined in many ways. You know, we have those labels that shape us, you know, being defined as fat or skinny or lazy or angry or introverted, extroverted, social, antisocial, anxious, paranoid. All these labels are very defining. And as I said in previous video, we cannot define who we are. So let's try to, you know, detach from those labels. These labels shape us in the way we cannot imagine. That's why we have to learn to celebrate what makes us who we are, what makes you you. Celebrating your shape and form, not the shape and form that others give you. Sometimes we don't want to see the truth and we don't want to accomplish our wishes. We are afraid when that comes. So we are going to see also that fear of success, fear of actually reaching the destination, fear of actually growing, fear of actually building something and creating something. But we are going to make it. It's happening. And it's a lot about survival. Taurus is a lot about survival. And this Uranus here is going, as I said, to push us out of our comfort zone and to show us what we are capable of, to show us things that we couldn't imagine that we are capable of. So we are going to be surprised by our own qualities, by our own capacities and abilities. And we are going to see that we can handle everything. You know, you can actually handle anything. Just if you are listening to this, you are already in that place. You know, you can handle anything. And we can see the repetitive cycle of traumas. This repetitive cycle of traumas is becoming very evident. So we are able to see it and to give ourselves permission to respond appropriately, not to respond in the same way as we always do. You know, and let's not use our pain that we feel to judge others. You know, roots of anger demand safe space. So don't give too much, don't take too much. Big balance between give and take needs to be made. And there is a great quote that I just remembered. I don't know exactly how it goes, but it says that, you know, help someone once, you made a friend. Help someone too much, you made yourself an enemy. I hope you know the point of what I'm saying here. You know, this balance between giving and taking needs to be made. But, you know, as I said, don't give too much, don't take too much, don't do anything too much. Because whatever is too much, it creates this balance immediately. If we give too much, I spoke about this in some of videos before, if we give too much, if we spend too much, if we eat too much, whatever too much we do, is no matter if it's good or bad, we will create this balance. And then life will hit us with something because we need to rebalance. So it's a constant play. We always have to be present. And as I said, sobriety is very important. It's a lot about sobriety, you know, in every way. This new moon is making a supportive sextile with Saturn in Pisces. And Saturn is about rules, regulations, responsibilities, maturity, you know, being responsible and mature. And Pisces is a lot about addictions, escapisms, being under the influence, running away from things. So Saturn in Pisces in sextile with this new moon and Uranus really gives us ability for true sobriety, true presence, really growing up, being mature, allowing ourselves to take responsibility for our feelings and our thoughts, and recognizing where are we projecting our suppressed feelings onto others, where are we projecting our suppressed traumas onto others and onto the world in general. And stepping out of victimhood is a big theme, and it will be very active for quite some time. Especially Saturn in Pisces is adding up to that energy, and there is a lot that can be triggered. There's a lot happening now that is showing us how we deal with resources, with values, with money, with finances, with our bodies, how we deal with those things, how we treat them, where we spend our money, how we spend our money. It's telling us a lot about ourselves. Where we spend our money is telling us a lot about ourselves. How we spend our money, how we earn money, why do we earn money, what is motivation, what is true intention behind earning resources that is not maybe money, but whatever resources that gives us that sense of material stability and security. What is the intention behind being overly indulgent, between enjoying and tapping into pleasures and those habitual hedonistic games? Are we aware of them? And this body is helping us a lot. There is one thing we can always change, and that is our body. It's the easiest. Our body is always healing itself. It's very powerful. It has huge power of regeneration. Scorpio is a lot about regeneration, and Taurus is the opposite of Scorpio, and they are very much connected. They are actually one and the same thing, but different aspects of it. So there is a huge healing energy happening too. And our body is always healing itself. And it's easiest to change the body. So we can always do things to improve our bodies and to improve the connection with our bodies. And to learn that there is no such thing as supernatural. Everything is natural. All those things that we think are supernatural are actually very natural, but we are disconnected from the power of our bodies and from the power of our existence. We are collectively stuck with that left brain reality, with that young energy, with pushing forward and competing and comparing and winning awards and being recognized and being the first in everything, being bigger, better and richer in everything, and or being in despair because we are in another extreme. That's why we feel frustrated when all the yin, feminine energy hits in. And this Taurus, with Venus in Taurus, is very yin and feminine energy. It's right brain. It's about intuition and nature and body and senses and slowing down. So we cannot deal with it normally because we are too much into what I just mentioned. And we go into escapisms of all kinds because of that. So we are building a security axis. It's very important to have that security system with ourselves, one that is long-term, that has quality of long life. And we are asked, what are we building? What are you building? What are you working on? We are the tree of life. Our body is the tree of life. And this tree strengthens. It, gathers together with all the nutrients that it needs in order to grow. And we are coming into full self-love, learning how to do it. We are learning how to tap into that wisdom of being the tree of life. And these things are locked in the memory. And we have to unblock the trauma to release it. And this is conditioned unconditioning, the call of return. and we are learning how to unblock the trauma without being re-traumatized, but with releasing it, with healing. You know, we cannot force the plant to bloom before it is time for that. We cannot force nature to give birth to something before it's time for it. So this is the inner impulse, and we are learning how to honor and appreciate the cycles within ourselves. We cannot force ourselves to do something before it's time for it. And Taurus is very powerful energy. Taurus fields our planet Earth, the voice, our voice and vibration and frequency, the sound and light, the sound that creates everything around us. We can create with our sound, with the voice. The singing and the melodies and the music is something that is very powerful and that has a huge influence on us. It can be very healing. These things connect us with our true nature, with our source, with our origin, with our resources. And, you know, masculine or feminine, left or right side of the brain, intuitive or logical, rational or irrational, neither is inferior or superior when compared. It's what we have done to it. It's what we are doing with it. It's how we are using it. So let's remember, neither is inferior or superior when compared. It's about us, how we use it, what we do with it. And this energy will unlock a lot of body traumas, as I said. So Uranus is also about traumas, and it's about earthquakes of our bodies and of the planet, and shake-ups of life as we know it. But it brings something good, it brings something new. This new moon, it brings something better. And we are learning how to heal with voices, with melodies, with music, you know, plant spirit medicines. You know, learning that liberation equals healing, and learning that there are layers of conditions. And to free yourself is to heal yourself. But learning that, as I said, our body is our temple, and we are learning that this is this is all us. The process of embodiment and how the divine expresses itself through human body and psyche. It's all about who we are as human beings. And our voice says a lot about us. Our words shape our reality. And as I said many times, words are spells, manifestations, affirmations, hard work, patience, responsibilities, expectations. All these things will be buzzing. And, you know, Uranus in Taurus is very buzzing energy. Higher mind, nervous tension, our nerves. And Taurus is physical body, so we cannot make a mistake being in nature. That's always healing, especially during this time. There is no mistake if we are in nature. You know, listen to our own bodies, love ourselves, get in touch with senses, with security, we need that sense of stability. Knowing that we are strong. We are owning the knowing that we are strong. Taurus is a lot about strength, owning ourselves, ownership. This energy is encouraging us to shake up what we are used to shake up those patterns. And it's empowering us to break free. Uranus is about breaking free from something that's been very restrictive, something that we've repeated many times. This is some bold move. We need courage to do that, to make that change. And we are going to have that courage. Mars is in Aries during this time, and Mars is very strong in Aries. Mercury is also in Aries and it's direct. So we have this courage for healing, for stepping into that space of uncertainty and of constantly battling and being able to balance. Full moon in Scorpio was about rebirth, and now it's about new birth. That was rebirth, now it's new birth. And you know, we are moving from fear to freedom, from lethargy into inspiration and creativity, building support, you know, using our resources in much better way, growing our own resources, learning, you know, to recognize the abundance and beauty and values in everything around us. Look at our values. What's most important for you? What's really mostly important? And remember that exercise that I mentioned. And never be afraid to try something new. You know, what is for free and what brings you pleasure? What taste do you like? What is right for you? Awaken subtle senses. Speak to plants, speak to trees. Trust yourself. Do the good that is good for everyone, not only for you. When you value yourself, your body, your needs, you will value the body of the planet as well. This is awareness. Discovering talents you never thought you had. Hidden gifts and talents. You know, this is about making the air clean. Learning how to take better care of our bodies and our earth. And there is a great quote from Tesla. And he says that the entire planet we live on, despite its incomprehensible size, could be forced to respond with a vibration to the quietest whisper of the human voice. That's how powerful human voice is. The whole planet Earth will respond to the quietest whisper of the human voice. And we are all one with this. You know, focus on simplicity. Basics need to be met. It's about basics with Taurus. Having enough instead of collecting more and more and more. You know, don't break the rules of nature. And there is one more great quote from Meister Eckhart. And it says, all that a man has here externally in multiplicity is intrinsically one. Here all blades of grass, wood, and stone, all things are one. This is the deepest depth. And with this, I would end this forecast. And I wish you all a very beautiful, pleasurable, enjoyable, healing, sensual, grounding, calming, and developing, self-developing, and self-nurturing new moon in Taurus. Let's do something surprising for ourselves, something good, something new, something beautiful. Recognize the beauty within us. Be grateful for the senses and connection with nature and everything that we can do in order to connect and reconnect with the source of our resources. I love you all and see you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.